Curious about how the relationship between lower income communities and a Shiba Inu catalyst up to even higher levels for 2022? How high? What if we knocked another zero off the price of Shiba Inu? Imagine another tenfold increase in price. Poseidon, you say? Is that even possible? The trend lines don't look encouraging. Well, dear viewer, anything is possible. And so let's review the circumstances that make another tenfold leap in Shiba Inu value possible, and why here at Unusual Due Diligence, I am slowly adding even more Shiba to my portfolio over time. The answer? It has to do with communities. Welcome to Unusual Due Diligence. I am your host, Poseidon, God of the Sea. In today's fresh episode of Unusual Due Diligence, we link the psychology drivers of content reposts to an eventual bull run of Shiba Inu. Poseidon, couldn't the Shiba community just vote to delete all the supply that's in the market? And my answer would be, well, yes. Yes, the Shiba community could vote to burn off all the excess supply, but this is not that episode. In this episode, we covered unusual due diligence theory involving the psychology of communities and build from there to a 10x prediction. Now, if you haven't noticed already, we are not talking about the unusual due diligence portfolio AAA play of Ankr, AMP, or Algorand today. But instead, in today's episode of Unusual Due Diligence, we return back to Shiba Inu. Here on the channel, in a prior episode of Shiba Inu, we discussed 3 psychological principles operating to boost Shiba Inu, and formed a rather unusual theory about price anchoring, fear of missing out, and the idea of goodwill. At the time, the coverage of Shiba was trading a factor of 10 less than it is today. Not long after coverage, the price spiked and we saw a run up to the price levels that have sustained since then. Were we the catalyst? Maybe yes, maybe no. Longtime members of the Unusual Due Diligence community know that I do not push videos that are on in what's called best a high trading volume environment in either a bullish uptrend or a bearish downtrend. I'm principally interested here in exploring the deep fundamental value that various projects provide. Are real problems being solved? And if so, how does that translate to price action? For example, Ankr, AMP, and Algorand all solve very real problems, and yet so does Shiba Inu. Now that the price action has cooled off, it's safe for us to talk about Shiba Inu again and where it might go. Since my prior videos covering Shiba from a psychological perspective, then I'm certain it won't surprise you to know that this video is about buying and holding Shiba, but from a perspective of psychology and community building. It comes in terms of numbers and time and seasons. To understand today's unusual due diligence theory, it begins with being the kind of person that is a habitual and obsessive person that reads way too much of everything online. If this is already you, then great, and you'll pick up on what I'm about to show. If not, let me explain to you a very specific quirk that happens. The quirk? It's called the repost. So what's a repost? Well, a repost is what happens when content that was previously posted on a shared social media network, say a Reddit, 4chan, 8chan, Facebook, LinkedIn, or whatever your vice is, when content shows up that was posted previously. If you've been a member of one online community long enough to see this, then you're familiar with the feeling of, oh, hey, wait a minute, I've seen this video before, or this image yet again? What's going on, and how does this take Shiba to outer space? What's happening in these reposts is that there are 2 forces at work. One is the more obvious one, and something the cynics in our community have already latched onto, and that's the idea of karma farming. So a person is posting old content that did well in a bid to get even more karma, which is then used to peddle influence down the road. That's a tried and true strategy that's done well for many people over the years. Advertisers do this as part of their bag of tricks. For example, as a marketer, you might find that there's a certain content that just performs better and at certain times of the year, so you would use that. It's not all nefarious. For example, images of Santa Claus selling firecrackers probably don't perform well on Thanksgiving if you're really selling a Valentine's Day card. The concept of timing. Did you pick up on that? The rhythm of these cycles? You see, the second force is what I call the Great Renewal, and it happens with regularity, meaning it happens often, because our economic order is a swing of creation and destruction. New money enters the system as people come of age, content gets reposted on social media from a new generation of college students going off to college, and old money exits the system by way of foolish attempts at shorting, say, Tesla or GameStop. Okay, this idea of new money inflows into cryptocurrency is quite interesting, and why it's the overall trend of cryptocurrency will be, in my mind, always a long-term bullish direction. Civilization would really have to reject all of the ideas of cryptocurrency, which is improbable to me for many reasons. But for the purposes of this video, I'd call attention that the rejection of cryptocurrency is unlikely because cryptocurrency such as Shiba Inu represents a different kind of idea. An idea of community participation, where even someone surviving on less than $1 a day could, given the access, participate in crypto with the purchase of a little Shiba Inu. And after all, even $1 US buys well over 100,000 Shiba Inu. Now, as a former poor person, the one fundamental truth is that escaping poverty is all about access to opportunities. Shiba Inu is, or should be, access be identified, about community formation and access to participation in cryptocurrency for anyone. So, in this fresh episode, our Shiba Inu theory for bullish 2022 extends on psychology, but also one of these trend lines in economic equity. Old money will exit and new money will enter. And the new money will continue to come in from more places as access to participate improves, which will push the perceived value of Shiba and other cryptocurrencies up even higher. We will see more participants entering, looking for a fun way to participate in the future of this Web 3.0 movement. Viewer, your decision is whether Shiba Inu is either a lottery ticket or if it's something more meaningful, something deeper, such as digital representation of community, and if so, what value can be assigned to that? The future is inherently uncertain, but I know this. This is Unusual Due Diligence. I am your host Poseidon, God of the Sea, who is slowly adding more Shiba Inu each week. In today's fresh episode of Unusual Due Diligence, we link content reposts to an eventual bull run of Shiba Inu by showing the causal link between behavior, money flow, and time. Will the prediction of a tenfold improvement be reached in the year ahead of us? Maybe so, maybe not. Make waves, my friends.